I normally make earrings that are for pierced ears, whether they're studs or with the little hooks. But I've got hold of some of these backs that are for clip-ons. And I thought I'd have a go at making some really big, chunky jewellery. Really, that would be ideal for maybe a drag queen or anybody that just wants to really push out their look. So I'm using this mould, which is a standard mould. This is probably a mould that everybody's got. I will link it in the description below. It is a really useful mould. I've got several of them. And I'm going to mix up my resin. And for this, I'm going to use the pure glossy because I want them to be really glossy and shiny. It's a 1-to-1 resin. Brilliant resin, and it's a great value. I'm also going to add a little bit of glitter into them, along with some translucent pigments. I don't want them to be opaque. I want to be able to see through them a little bit. And then I can show you how I'm going to combine them all together and also attach them to the clip bases. And these are going to be quite, oh wow. And looking at this mould, it is getting a bit past it, this one, and it's a bit dull in places. So I may have to polish these up before I turn them into jewellery, but that's not a problem now. And that'll only take a few minutes to get them all polished up if they come out a little dull. So I've got my resin all mixed up. I popped it through my degasser and it is virtually clear now. And all I'm going to do is put 2, 3, 4 drops of the translucent in there. I don't want it completely like clear, but what I do want is it to have a bit of a colour. If I don't feel there's enough colour there, I can always add another couple of drops. Yeah, I'm going to add another 2 drops to that. I want a bit darker than that. Actually 3 drops. Oh, that's better. And now a little bit of red glitter. I'm using a very fine glitter here as well. I will link everything I've used in the description below, so if you want to get hold of it, you can. Is that a good mix in? And now I can pour this into these moulds. So that's those ones done. And now I'm going to go ahead and do some yellow and put some gold in. And I'm also going to do some blue and put some silver in and pour them all out. And then once they're cured up, I can show you what I'm going to do next. I will go over them with a long neck lighter as well and burst any bubbles up that come up to the top. Well, these are all cured now, and as you can see, I had some leftover resin from another project. So I topped up a few more and I thought, well, they might come in handy. So all I'm going to do now is demold these. And then start to look at how I'm going to put them together and put them onto those backings. Well, one of those moulds I used is kind of coming to the end of its life. You can see the difference. There's no shine on these. But I don't want to not use them. I'm going to quickly give them a polish up. I've got this out anyway from a project I was doing earlier. So I might as well make the most of it while it's out. Because I'd like 4 of these to be shiny. Just in case I mess them up, really. It don't take long if you've got a dull mould to quickly shine something up using your polishing wheel. I mean, look at that already. You can see the difference already. It's just as shiny now as this one. I've got all these in separate pots now for the separate colours. And what I'm going to do is place them in a pattern that I like and which I think will make a nice earring. I like that design. I think that looks quite nice, quite heavy, quite chunky. And I'm going to keep playing around with them until I've got all the designs that I want, and then I can show you how I'm going to attach them to each other, create the designs, and then attach them to the backs. Well, I've made my designs now. I've decided they're my earrings, and these 2 are going to be pendants. So now all I've got to do is connect them together. I've been thinking about how best to connect them together, and I'm going to try a couple of different methods. But I don't want to have to mess about too much on looking at them and then thinking, oh, how was my design? What was my design? I could take a photograph of it and look at that. But what I'm going to do for these larger ones is stick a bit of tape over the top like that. And that way I can remember how I've got them. And then I can flip them over like that and work on them. And the earrings, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time with some thinner tape. So once I've got all those done, then I'm going to look at how I'm going to connect them together. So I've got all those patched up now into pairs, and I've decided how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use some wire, and I'm also going to use this thread, see how that works. But I need them to be very level when I'm doing it. And I also want to make the backs of each piece silver or glittery silver. So I've got myself some Oasis foam here. I want it this way round, and I like this because it enables me to push the items in there like this and get them nice and level. So I can have everything at the same height and in place. The ones I want with a little bit of movement, they're the ones that I'm going to be using the thread for. I'm going to have a bit of thread going down the middle like that. So they're in there now. They're all at the same level. So these ones I'm going to be using this thread for. I'm going to cut enough that I can put it across there like that through the middle. And that should stay there nice and easily. Now let's put my gloves on. And now all I need to do is put my UV resin, which is silver glitter, and this is nice and thick, so it's going to stay on here really easily. Go over the cord and all over the back. And if I do them all like this, then they're going to be all nicely stuck together, and they're going to have a good backing on them as well. Ooh. And now I can cure those up, and then once they're all cured up, I can show you how I'm going to mount them. I will do the ones for the pendants slightly differently, and I'll show you when I come to those how I'm going to do those. And these ones I've done slightly different. I've put 2 strings down. I think that might give these ones a little bit more stability, and because they're square, there's more surface area to do that with. So again, I'm going to put the same amount of backing on them and then cure them up. So all the earrings are now corded, and what I want to do with these ones is give them a bit more rigidity to them. So how I'm doing that is going through each one and popping a little wire frame in it once I've got it placed where I want it. Now I've got those in like that. All I'm doing is putting a blob either side and then using my tweezers, popping a bit of wire. It's a really thin wire. I'm putting that there. And then curing it up, and then I will do the same for the other pieces that are going to go in the middle of those, and the same for the other one. And then once that's all done, I'll show you how I'm going to finish them off completely. So now they're all done and on there nice and tight, what I'm going to do is trim up any ends that I don't need there or that are sticking up too far. And now I'm going to coat the whole back of here, same way as I have with the earrings. And then just cure that up, and I'll do the other brooch exactly the same way, or pendant the other exactly the same way. They could be brooches actually. Well, these are all put together now, and all I've got to do is attach them to the fittings. I'm going to cut my strings off because I don't need those on. If you wanted to add some more beads or anything to them, then you could use your strings to add more beads on the bottoms or charms or things like that, but I'm not going to do that. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that bought me a coffee last month. Your coffees really go to help me keep this channel going. I appreciate them so much. I love reading the messages as well that people add when they buy me a coffee. If you'd like to buy me a coffee and send me a little message, then the link for that is in the description below. Or even ask me a question. Now I'm going to attach these using 5-minute epoxy because it does cure up really quickly and it goes very, very hard. Personally, I think it does a better job with these sorts of things than E6000 and glues like that. But you use whatever glue you find works really well for you. And these have been handled quite a bit as well now by me, and with gloves on and with no gloves on and all those sorts of things. So before I go ahead and try and attach these, I am going to give that a little bit of a clean there with some 99% alcohol. And that'll mean you'll get a much better grip, and also the back of the actual fitting itself. And make sure that's nice and clean. I want the fittings to be open as I'm going to put them on because it just makes life a little bit easier. And now I can mix up my 5-minute epoxy. It's an equal part. You don't need to mix up much at a time, and it only takes a few seconds to mix up as well. So I'm going to pop a bit on here on the base and then put them where I want them to be. Then I'm going to spread some over the edges of it as well and across the back, and then let that cure up, and I'll do the other one exactly the same. And these ones, which I'm going to be using as pendants, I'm using these small pendant loops that you can get, and I'm going to glue these on the back of here using exactly the same method. Well, these have worked out so much nicer than I thought they were going to even work out. I love them, and I'm sure that they'll be very, very popular. They were so easy to make, and a lot of them could be made with leftover resin as well. And this is what the pendant looks like on. I like that one and a pair of those earrings, and they're really easy to swap and change over. And that's what those ones look like with that pendant. I love the pendants. I'm definitely going to be making some more of these pendants. They're not heavy at all, and they're really vibrant. I love the vibrance of them. I'm not sure which ones are my favourite earrings and which ones are my favourite pendants. Let me know in the comments what you think. Which one are your favourites? I haven't made clip-on earrings for such a long time, and they are really, really popular as well. I love these. I might wear them tonight. Well, I think these are the most fun and the best earrings that I've made in a long, long time. I'm very pleased with them. I believe they're going to be very popular. If you'd like to learn more about making earrings and jewellery for beginners and how to really get some great unique jewellery, then check out the video that I've got coming up next. I think you'll find that one really useful. Leave me a comment below. Share this video if you can. I'd love to get it out there. Boot that like button. Hit that subscribe button. But most of all, enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.